if your chamber hasn't gotten into workforce development work, it really is rewarding and it really is what businesses need. We talk a lot about succession plans in our community and business, and it's really an investment in your future to make sure you have that workforce talent developed for the future. I know a lot of times as chambers, we like to do promotion and ribbon cuttings and celebrations. And this is kind of the lesser sexy work, I guess, that you could call, but it really is the most critical for a community that their businesses are preparing for the future workforce. And so that's been really big for us to help kind of get our businesses to understand what we're doing to help, but this really is a business issue.
This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and here on the podcast, I introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. You're joining us for a special episode in our 2026 ACCE Chamber of the Year Finalist Series. And today we're joined by Michelle Bundren, President and CEO of the Murray-Calloway County Chamber. Michelle is a respected chamber leader with more than 11 years of experience in the industry and a strong background in business management. Michelle made history as the first female president and CEO in her organization's 99-year history. Her leadership has earned national recognition, including ACCE Certified Chamber Executive designation, a distinction held by only a small percentage of chamber professionals nationwide, as well as a 4-star accreditation from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. She's helped lead the award-winning chamber work, including bringing home ACCE's National Chamber of the Year honor in 2019, and continues to invest in leadership, workforce development, education, and regional collaboration across Kentucky and beyond. But Michelle, I'm excited to have you back on Chamber Chat Podcast, especially under these circumstances. It's very exciting, and big congratulations to you and your team. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to say hello to everybody and share something interesting about yourself so we can all get to know you a little better.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me back. Obviously, we're really excited to be a finalist again. It's been 6 years, so it's been a fun and exciting, 6 years since then. I think just interestingly, I've been married for 22 years. My husband and I both graduated from Murray State University. We have 3 children, fixing to be a senior in high school, which is an interesting time. And have a 14 and 12-year-old. So we have teenagers in our house. So I not only do, work, but obviously that's a full-time job in itself as well. So that's my season of life. We're busy with them, and we have 2 miniature dachshunds. We're huge dog lovers. So we stay busy. What can I say?
That's right. That's right. I'd forgotten how close our kids line up pretty closely. We just had one graduate, and we've got a 12 and 13-year-olds, so that are still at home. But very good. Well, tell us a little bit about your chamber. Give us an idea of the size, staff, scope of work you guys are involved with, budget. Just kind of set the stage for what you guys are doing today.
We are in the far western part of the state of Kentucky. So if you look at us on a map, think far west Kentucky, down in the corner. Our population is about 40,000 in the county. We are anchored with Murray State University, which has made some national headlines over the years with players like Ja Morant, who's now in the NBA. And then last year, our baseball team made it to the College World Series. So we loved being on the national stage through sports a couple times. Our chamber, we have about 450 chamber members. We represent about 12,000 employees through that count of businesses. We have 3 full-time staff and average around a $350,000 to $400,000 budget annually. So Murray, Kentucky itself has been named friendliest small town in America, and we were just recently named friendliest small college town in America. So we have a lot of national attention for being a small, friendly town. And so the chamber's really excited now to be putting ourselves back again on that national stage.
That's cool. I love all those opportunities to be able to be on the national stage and be like, that's us. That's our town.
Yeah,
That's
we're
cool.
excited. Yeah.
That is very cool. For those listening, if you're curious and going back in time and checking out the first episode we did with Michelle, it was actually episode 33 as a Chamber of the Year finalist in 2019. So that may be interesting to go back and look at. That was the first year that I did these interviews as the
Okay.
Chamber of the Year finalist. So yeah, come a long ways. So with these episodes, I like to spend the majority of the time talking about the programs that are submitted on the various chambers applications for Chamber of the Year. So we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll dive into that and learn more about the impactful work you guys are involved with.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rose.
And we're the founders of At My Community, a mobile app that can be customized to meet the unique needs of your Chamber of Commerce.
When we started At My Community, we envisioned a tool that would help communities thrive by simplifying communication and enhancing engagement. Chambers of Commerce face unique challenges, and we're here to help you tackle them.
At My Community helps the Evergreen Area Chamber of Commerce to create an app that keeps tourists informed even when their office is closed. They provide 24/7 access to local business information, which helps support the local economy and community engagement.
In Rocky Mountain House, we helped the Rocky Chamber create an app with dynamic itineraries and digital resources for tourists, increasing local business engagement. The app has become an essential tool for the community, promoting events and boosting visibility for local merchants.
Today, we empower more than 200 chambers of commerce, campgrounds, and RV resorts to streamline communication, informing members about events, sharing business updates, and providing a digital hub for the community, all in one convenient app.
When you partner with At My Community, our team works closely with you to create an app that meets your chamber's unique needs. As your community grows, our app evolves with you. We are here to ensure you engage effectively with your members and streamline your operations.
Schedule a demo today at atmycommunity.com.
We can't wait to meet you.
Are you ready to take your organization's funding to the next level? Hi, I'm Clint Neesmith, CEO of Resource Development Group. As a Chamber of Commerce or economic development organization leader, I know you understand the value of working with experts who understand your world. And that's exactly what RDG does best. For over 30 years, RDG has specialized in fundraising for EDOs and chambers. We bring cutting-edge strategies tailored to your organization, whether you're just starting out or gearing up for yet another new funding cycle. Importantly, our firm executives are hands-on from start to finish, from the feasibility study to the successful conclusion of your fundraising campaign, and our team brings deep industry roots and national expertise to every engagement. No matter the size of your community, RDG delivers data-driven, innovative revenue solutions, reinforcing ROI to investors and making sure your vision becomes reality. At RDG, we proudly build organizations that build communities. Visit us today at rdgfundraising.com and let us partner with you, building a stronger future for your organization and the community you are working to grow and develop.
All right, we're back. As I mentioned before the break, we'll dive into the program that you guys submitted on your Chamber of the Year application. If you could tell us what the program is, kind of I always like knowing the origins and, of course, the impact that it's making in your community.
Well, in 2021, we just got through COVID, which was fun. We won in 2019, we're on a high, and then 2020 and 2021 kind of just took everybody.
Flatline. Yeah.
And we realized through those 2 years that we really weren't able to help small businesses as much as we've hoped because we didn't have a foundation. We didn't have a 501c3 arm to support with other things and ways. So we created it and kind of put the paperwork in motion in 21 and really started it in 2022. The last 2 years, though, we've really seen a growth in investments from businesses, really convening people around the table on workforce programs and solutions, and really seeing an excitement around some of our workforce programs. So our synopsis that we put in was about our foundation and the work that we're doing through the foundation, which is our 501c3 arm. And we decided that our mission, starting out with that, was to introduce and educate students on opportunities they have very local if they decide to have a career here in our region, primarily in our county and city. So that's what we did. We're like, there's some low-hanging fruit programs. It's really big do that would really help get students to know more about what opportunities are available here. We had some great chambers across Kentucky to be great mentors to us, larger chambers, larger resources. We got to gather them and kind of hear what they were doing. And we started the eighth grade career exploration event called Spark, because we want to spark a career interest in a student, maybe, and kind of make it stay here local. We introduced that to 2 school districts. Now we have 4 school districts attending. It's over 500 students that are involved in coming, and we have over 30 businesses, about 40 businesses setting up with about 90 plus experiences that they can get introduced to career opportunities happening here in our region. And we also started a teacher externship program, which is called LIFT. Leadership Initiative for Teachers. We take teachers from each school district, we have 2 here, and put them through an externship program where it helps them get resources they need and connections they need with businesses. And then we help them be better prepared to go back in the classroom to prepare their students for careers in the future. We've seen some amazing conversations come out of that. One of them connected to the hospital and has now created this program and shadowing with some of their students in class. Their classes can go to the hospital, and it's really created a great partnership that they never would have had without the connection that we helped create through that program. And then, there was partnership with our university on kind of an after-school program for females interested in engineering. That was all an exciting idea that came out of the class that's now come into fruition, that we just really helped connect the people and then got out of the way and let them create kind of those connections and furthering students' opportunities. So that's some of the exciting outcomes. And then even just through our Spark, one of our school districts only had 10 to 15 students going into our area technology center, which is where they learn about trades, electrical, plumbing, welding, things like that. And after our program, the next year, they had over 100 students enroll in the program, from 10 to 13. So we're really educating and introducing students to those opportunities. We've been in front of seniors, high school seniors. We reach about 400 of those a year, getting them ready for the jobs that they could get in May if they don't know kind of what their career path is. So we've had lots of successful programs. I only see them growing. And our investors have grown the past 2 years. We had just a handful, and now we have, probably 25 investors and people around the table helping us make these decisions. So it's been very exciting and been something I'm very passionate about the last couple of years.
I love that. So I was going to come back to that and ask about the funding side of the foundation, because as you noticed through COVID, the impact that a foundation can have, and if you're positioned right to be able to deploy those funds in the community. And so aside from grants, I assume you're going after grants for some of this as well, but what's the positioning like to try to find the funding to get people to invest in the workforce development throughout your county?
We actually have had no grants so far. This is all
Really? Okay.
it's all
Very
been
cool.
funded through local business leaders. We really convened them to the table to hear what their issues were. It was, we don't feel like students are prepared for the jobs that we have. And then we convened with the schools, and it was like, what are you seeing? And really brought them both to the table. We meet about once a quarter now, bringing just various industries together. And really, they've all stepped up to invest. We raise about $50,000 plus annually through them currently to manage and kind of organize our programs. Plus, we have additional sponsors that help lead the different programs as well. So we're running a pretty strong budget so far to do these kind of year over year. Yes, we'll be looking at grant opportunities to really increase our programming and really help us be more profitable right now.
Yeah.
Kind of just funding the work that we do currently. But they've all are invested and eager to help go get other businesses involved, because we really have shown them and the return on investment that they really are getting work done for the money that they're putting in, and it's impactful to the students. So that's been very exciting.
Yeah. No, that's great that you haven't had to go after grants yet,
Not
but
yet.
obviously opportunities there. So you have these investors that invest in the foundation, but then you mentioned with each actual event, you have individual sponsors that help make those events come together. So there's additional funding that comes into that. So that's great. So you talked about gathering them together at the table from the different employment sectors in the schools. So I'm always curious from the schools, who are you getting? Is it the superintendent? Is it those who are involved with writing the curriculum for the schools? Certain teachers? How do you go about getting that side to come to the table?
So we first convened our guidance counselors, and because businesses were saying students aren't prepared. So
Yeah.
we went to the schools and said, "Hey, businesses are saying students aren't prepared." To which they would say, "We are preparing them." We created sort of what we call a roadmap. Okay, where K through 12 are they receiving some kind of workforce connection or education? And so we looked to see where those holes were. That meeting was with guidance counselors. So we saw eighth grade was a great opportunity. Juniors and seniors were a great opportunity. And then our teacher program really hits K through 12. So those were kind of how we figured out the strategy of programs and initiatives and where to hit. Our board for our foundation is made up of the assistant superintendent at one school district, and they are very much involved in the curriculum. Actually got an email last week asking them for us to come look at a new software program and curriculum they're looking at, because there's a whole engagement on business community resources and they want us at the table in that conversation.
Awesome.
So that's been encouraging. So yes, we discussed curriculum. They went with us on our DC fly-in last year to meet with the U.S. Chamber, and we're very impressed by they have for chambers, in partnership. And our superintendent and our superintendent went on that trip. So that's who's at the table when it comes to the school district. So that's been really great to have the leadership at the top, discussing and knowing what's going on throughout the schools.
So you had mentioned one of these programs that has come out through the foundation was this teacher externship. I find that to be very curious. I'd like to learn more about what that looks like and how you get the teachers in the businesses and how's that structured?
We met with a couple teachers who were a little bit jealous of our leadership program. They couldn't come to stuff because it's kind of during the
Yeah.
day. And, we heard from them, we would love something similar. And then we had heard from the business, and this kind of foundation board, we need to reach kids. And so we were like, well, why don't we create a teacher program? We looked at some other models, and the teacher externship we created was basically they apply and we take the same amount from each school district and K through 12 industry, any kind of subject matter. And the sponsorship covers the substitute teacher for the day so that the school district doesn't have to worry about that. And then all the program materials and the transportation and all that is raised through sponsorships. So the businesses are engaged. At the end of it, we have a business education roundtable where we talk about what they learned and then get feedback from both. But basically, it's 5 sessions. We do an initial session to get to know them, and talk about the resources and things that they need to get out of the program. And then we connect them throughout the next few months to businesses. We take them to our manufacturers, we take them to the hospital, we take them to different industry sectors. And the conversation is careers, what all careers are available, what talents and passions do they need to help connect their students, with the interest that maybe, they have of that talent. And so that's kind of how we structured it. And then the substitute teacher thing has been critical because it's already worked for
Yeah.
them already. So the fact that the sponsorship helps cover that has been really good.
Yeah, I could see that being a little bit of friction. Well, who's going to cover for me when I'm gone, right? But I also wondered if it might take place during the summer sometime, or but they probably want to do it when they're being paid. I don't know. There's all the different nuances to it, but
We kind of line it up with our business series with our chamber. So they attend
yeah,
our lunches, they get to meet and hear from those. And then they elect a class leader. So when they graduate, it'll be that I think it's our November lunch. We have a class person come and speak and talk about their experience and what they learned, and we give them certificates and all that. So we really have tried to give them that platform at even our chamber events to get their voice, because they want to feel heard, as educators. Sometimes they feel tucked in the classroom, and they are key leaders in our community, and the chamber's really been able to bring them out and help them get the exposure and attention they need.
yeah. And I assume that the end outcome is having them promote these different job opportunities throughout the community to their students in the classroom. So as they talk about the things that they learned, what kind of things are they sharing that they take back to the classroom, or what are some of their takeaways?
Sure. So a lot of the students really kind of know what their parents do, so taking the teachers to the manufacturing facility, for example, and hearing that, maybe they hear from their students that mom and dad work on the line or, whatever. They don't know that there's a whole administrative team or a whole HR team or logistics team. So what they're hearing from our businesses is, and even in healthcare, there's a whole administrative side to it. You don't have to be a doctor. There's nurses, and then there's radiology, and there's all these different skill levels and jobs out there that the teachers themselves don't even know exist. And so if they go out of the classroom and actually experience it and hear from it, they leave with connections and resources for the students. Maybe there's internship or job shadowing opportunities that now they know about and have seen and heard and have the connection to the HR manager or whatever. They can now go back in and help their students connect to those opportunities and connect to those businesses. We've seen a lot of success. I know our next step will definitely be connecting more job shadowing opportunities, which will be critical to have the teachers and the schools involved in that. But that's some of the things that we've heard is, they don't have the resources or know who to contact sometimes to bring in guest speakers to their classroom. And now they've said they have a lot of people, business, now that we've created that connection, they have those experts coming into their classroom, or they're creating their own kind of externship with their students where they're taking a handful who are maybe interested in healthcare and now connecting them to the radiology department. I say that because that's one particular area of need we have here. And
Yeah.
is radiology. But then there's the whole, we have Murray State students didn't know about. And now the teachers have all that information that they can bring back in the classroom to help one-on-one champion their students to pick a career path that's perfect or the best fit for them. And so that's been a huge outcome for us, is just having people they respect and love, the teachers, be a role model for them in kind of shaping their future.
So when I was growing up, my dad was in pharmaceuticals. So he was always coming home talking about the new drug that he was pushing, that he's selling. So when I was in third grade, we did the whole, what do your parents do for work? And all I knew is that my dad sold drugs. So that spurred a phone call home. And I'm
I'm
glad
sure
that I got other exposure to other industries, so I didn't have to follow that.
that's good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that was very interesting for the teachers to hear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, having that exposure to the different opportunities is so crucial, because you're right. Most of them only know what their parents do. And even at that, they don't really know the extent of what it is that their parents do. They just know what gets shared and what gets talked about in the home. Is there anything else from the foundation that you want to highlight and make sure that you get to shine some light on?
I just think if your chamber hasn't gotten into workforce development work, it really is rewarding, and it really is what businesses need. We talk a lot about succession plans in our community and business, and it's really an investment in your future to make sure you have that workforce talent developed for the future. I know a lot of times as chambers, we like to do promotion and ribbon cuttings and celebrations. And this is kind of the lesser sexy work, I guess, that you could call it. But it really is the most critical for a community that their businesses are preparing for the future workforce. And so that's been really big for us to help kind of get our businesses to understand what we're doing to help, that this really is a business issue.
Yeah.
Of us just wanting to be in the schools all the time, it's really a long game plan and strategy.
And I like to think of it as the workforce development is really what changes lives. That the individuals that are going to be the employees, but also the employers, and the impact how they can better serve the community and be more of an impact themselves throughout the community. So it's important work. So I like to ask for those listening for a tip or action item to help those listening who want to take their organization up to the next level. What might you offer for them?
Trying to take it up to the next level. I think one thing that's been critical for us, and it's been really not easy, even with our board, we used to kind of sit here at the office and wait for business to happen or come to us. And really, it's a shift in our organization. We are out and about a lot. We're not sitting here waiting for phone calls. We've kind of invested in technology as much as we can to be present or available through technology, either ring camera or, phone, laptop, all those things. But the idea for us is if we're not out connecting with people or doing something, that's the best use of our time. It's to be out doing something, not sitting here at the office waiting for a phone call. That's taken a shift because, I think sometimes people, they're not in the office, they're not working.
Yeah.
That's definitely not true. And that's for a small town like us, that's a shift because that's not the model that we've had for 99 years of business. But for us, we're known for those connections. We're known for who the company we keep. It used to be a tagline of ours way back in the day. And so I really do think that you've got to kind of think bigger picture with some of the work that we're doing for small chambers, 1 staff, 2 staff, 3 staff. It's don't just sit there in the office and kind of feel like you have to man the office. Get out there and build connections and make things happen. And that's what we've seen a lot of success with the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, but it is a perception shift to be able to get that imaging out there. And part of that, I mean, social media can be helpful with that when you can show your members what you're doing and that you're out connecting with others and doing all that. But Michelle, you may remember from last time, but I like asking everyone I have on the show about how you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward.
Yeah, you sent me this and I was trying to think about it. And we talked about it a little bit, but I think just the idea that chambers just host parades and festivals and events and things like that are really not the future of chambers. It's definitely convening conversations. We're greatly positioned for that because we're kind of neutral politically and local government, business, education, nonprofits. We work a lot with nonprofits and we're kind of greatly situated to really convene conversations around critical issues. And you really, as a chamber, have to kind of put yourself there and really step out and lead in that way and kind of make yourself, hey, I want to be at the table of this. Like, let's get the
Yeah.
chamber table because a lot of small chambers I work with, because I'm really connected to ones in Kentucky, they're bored and their community doesn't view their chamber as an organization that can do more than just ribbon cuttings or more than just a celebration, like I said.
Which is crazy. Why are you on the board then, right?
I know. They just like it to be on the resume, or they're just happy with what's always been. And then sometimes they're nervous. I get that. I think when they think policy, they think politics and it's messy, but really that's the future, is sitting at the table with community leaders, helping solve problems and making sure the resources are there and any role the chamber can play in helping connect or bring people around a critical issue is really important. There's always things going on, and I think sometimes we're like, well, what does the chamber think about it? And sometimes that's a great question and we should have a voice, and sometimes it's a situation we can stay out of, but the fact that they're asking our opinion or asking us means that they value what we do and who we are, because we are the business community. We're the voice of business. And so we don't take that lightly. But we're so much more than just, meeting for fellowship with the board and eating a lunch together and, having an event. It's definitely more than that. And so if you can, as a chamber leader, I'm speaking with small chambers here, really help your board cast a vision for being more, then that's a really big deal and a big step forward for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that answer. Michelle, I want to give you an opportunity to share any contact information for listeners who might want to reach out and connect and learn more about how you guys are doing things there at the Murray-Calloway County Chamber. Where would you point them and what would be the best way to connect?
You can always email me, Michelle, 2 L's, MICHELLE at Murray, MURRAY.com. You can call our office, 270-753-5171. But definitely email. I'll get it on my phone and all the places. So I stay pretty connected to that.
Very good. We'll get that in our show notes to make it nice and easy. But I think it's fantastic that you guys are putting in the work to be selected as a Chamber of the Year finalist again. And I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
If you are a chamber professional, be sure to subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast on your favorite podcast app or now on YouTube, so you never miss a new episode. New episodes are released each week and delivered right to you. If you're finding value in the podcast, please take a moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. It really helps others discover the show. And most importantly, share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues in the industry so we can continue to grow and strengthen the chamber community together.
One thing I see over and over with chambers is a big focus on talent attraction and workforce development. But what often gets overlooked is retention. That's where Mike Conn really brings something different to the table.
When you invest in people, you know what happens? Their leadership increases exponentially. And when you help leadership increase exponentially on an individual level, an organizational level, a community level, then the culture just gets better and better and better.
Mike gives businesses practical tools to build stronger culture, improve communication, and actually keep the great people they work so hard to attract. If you're looking for a way to bring real tangible value to your members through workforce and talent retention, and even earn some non-dues revenue in the process, then what Mike has to offer is a game changer. To learn more, visit chamberchatpodcast.com/Mike Conn to learn more about all that Mike has to offer.